Well, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I'm here in the sunny Caribbean, and I can tell you something, it ain't so sunny. I'm sitting here on a boat, actually. You wouldn't know because we've got the green screen behind me, but it's extremely stormy outside, and you'll probably see me move quite a lot because the camera doesn't have a stabilizer on it, so it exaggerates the movement quite a lot. Anyway, I'm Zen. Welcome to the stream, Slanjivar. I'm back. In fact, it's not just me that's back, it's crypto that's back because things are about to start moving finally in the right direction. But look, I kind of feel bad because I'm kind of like the wrong guy. I'm not the wrong guy. I'm the guy you want to be. I mean, look, I've got the lifestyle. I've got all the toys. My life couldn't be any better. It just couldn't get any better than this, and it has been for a very long time. But I do know that you guys who aren't there yet want to be, and you will be. I am absolutely convinced of that fact. But before you get there, there is some magic dust to show you. There is a link to the promised land that I have to show you. Whether you want to follow it or not, that will be your choice. But I just want to point some things out to you that I found today, which was, it's just really, there is no shortage of wealth. I have to emphasize that. It doesn't matter how many coins come onto Pulsechain, or everybody at the moment. This is the myth of Pulsechain. Pulsechain was not going to be isolated to Richard Hart's coins because that would make it unworkable and unusable. It had to be that everybody, every man and his dog, had to come and use Pulsechain. And the infighting that goes on about, well, my coin's better than your coin, is a bit ridiculous because there is so much money floating about that it's not a question of having a small pot of money divided by your coins and your mate's coins and somebody else's coins. There's no point being upset that you think that your coin's value is not going up because there isn't enough money to go around. And if somebody else produces a coin, they're going to steal money from your coin. It doesn't work that way. I mean, look, if you just look at this in the wealth pyramid of the world, okay, the crypto market at the moment is worth about $2 trillion if we're lucky. Some days a bit lower than that. But when you look at money, the overall wealth in the world that can be counted is about $484 trillion. That's trillion with a T. Look, in the stock market, all right, because you have to look at the stock market figures, because this is the additional money that is available for investing. And if you look here, we are looking at figures of upwards of about $100 trillion. $100 trillion. Now, just if even a small proportion of that money makes its way back into cryptocurrency, we are going to see exponential growth over the next few years. You have to realize that there is no scarcity of wealth. We just need a better redistribution system. That is the problem, because if you look here closely at the figures, then you can see that the millionaires of the world, people like me, it comes to, according to this little chart, there's 59.4 million of us. For those people whose net worth is between 100,000 to 1 million, there's about 642 million of us. For those who are in the income bracket and their net worth is between $10,000 to $100,000, there's 1.8 billion of you. Less than $10,000, that accounts for some 2.8 billion worth of people. The highest wealth run controls 208 trillion in the world, or about maybe 46% of the global market. So it is very important to realize that, you know, we are not living in a scarcity world. We are living in a world of abundance. There's more money out there than you can ever dream about. But, you know, I did say I would try and connect the dots for you. So I'm going to go right back to the very beginning. I know some of you will have been here in PulseZen for a while, but there are some newbies. And if you're watching this replay, thank you very much. And I'm very glad that you found it. But I want you to just refresh your memory of what PulseZen is all about in the first place. And one of the things that you have to look at is, if you lost your income, how long could you survive? And somebody's done a survey on this. And, you know, if you lose your job, how long could you actually survive for? And you can see the top countries here are Sweden, Hong Kong, Norway, Finland, Iceland. A lot of those are sort of pseudo communist countries, but nevertheless, it's absolutely frightening to think that the majority of people, if they lost their income, they wouldn't be able to survive. And that is what it's all about. Income. You have to have income, whether that's from your work or from a passive investment producing income. And, you know, don't forget that when you go to work to pay the bills. And then your spare time is when you make your money. Look, I've been there. You know, I wasn't always wealthy. In fact, some parts of my life, I was incredibly poor. And it is a struggle. But you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe, and you have to take action, and then hopefully things will change for everyone around. But income is the absolutely key thing. And that is one of the reasons why this coin was invented. And if I could go back to the very beginning of when it all started.
In these tumultuous economic times, it seems harder and harder to get ahead. Even though you have made all the right financial decisions, it's never enough. The problem is not you, it's the system. You see, the system is designed to make the rich richer and the poor poorer. The only solution is to break free from this system. Today, you can join a new, growing economy and finally get ahead. This economy is built around a socially engineered token called PulseZen, which is designed to redistribute wealth. The truth is that there is no scarcity of wealth. We just need a better redistribution system. PulseZen harnesses the power of the eighth wonder of the world, compounding interest. Simply buy and hold PulseZen in your wallet, and after each transaction made across the network, your token balance goes up. This is thanks to the Pay It Forward deduction, which takes 2% of every transaction and distributes it equitably to all PulseZen holders. No one is coming to save you. This is the way out, but you need to do the work. You have to get educated. You have to take a leap of faith. You have to join the new economy to secure your financial future. Take control of your finances with PulseZen. PulseZen.app. Take control of your finances with PulseZen. PulseZen.app. Take control of your finances with PulseZen. PulseZen.app.
So what changed? What happened? Well, everything that we ever thought was going to happen in crypto did, but there were externalities that we couldn't predict. And we've had a pretty rough time over the last couple of years. There's no doubt about it. I mean, look, every single altcoin is down about 90%. I mean, look at all the coins that we've been interested in the past. Hex is down 90%. Our own coin, PulseZen, doing okay, but it's still down about 59% from where we were. We're down 59%. How can anybody happy with that kind of performance? How can you continue to believe with that kind of performance? Well, you must understand that times change. There are cycles, and we're coming to the end of a very bad cycle for crypto, and we are going to enter a phenomenal growth stage, particularly in crypto, which we know is going to be the highest appreciating asset class that there ever has been in history. And you're part of it. You're part of it because you're here. You're watching this video. You know about it. You've learned and you've taught yourself what a MetaMask wallet is, or whatever other wallet you're using. You understand a little bit of the blockchain. You know that if you are going to interact on the Ethereum chain, you need to buy Ether. You also know that if you want to interact on the Pulsechain, well, if you weren't involved in the setup in the beginning where you got your airdrop, then you're going to have some Pulse in your wallet. If you're brand new, older guys, you've got your free Pulse anyway. So the thing to remember and to really think hard about is that we are in cycles, and we are just coming out of the bottom of a very, very bad cycle. And if we fast forward into the future, I just want to remind you of the performance that is possible with PulseZen, particularly to do with income.
The power of PulseZen is in the compounding interest code. Let's look at today's numbers. On Pulsechain, 1 million PulseZen at $0.000539 would cost $539. The daily pay it forward code can average for the year 500 PulseZen per 1 million held. So you are making 26 cents a day, or $94.90 or so a year. So that works out to a whopping 17.6% a year, no staking, no lockup. However, if you imagine the growth in PulseZen, imagine daily volume increases and price is 30 cents. Everything looks shockingly different. The daily PIF is now $150 a day at 30 cents per PulseZen. That generates compounding rewards of about $54,750 a year, which is a staggering 5,375% APY. Go see for yourself at pulsezen.app.
So there we have it. The future looks very bright. May I just remind you about the dollar, okay, and about inflation. And this is very, very important when you're trying to find a home for your hard-earned fiat currency, whether it be dollars or pounds or whatever. The fact of the matter is, they're saying it will stick to America, but this is applicable to the rest of the world as well. They're trying to tell us that inflation is running at about 3%. That is absolute horseshit. Did you fill your car up with gas this morning? Inflation is, I'm going to be generous, it's running at about 7% per year. There's no question that it's at least 7%. And I want to just tell you, at that rate, your dollar in your pocket or your bank account or your savings account, at that rate, in 10 years from now, that same dollar purchasing power is about 48 cents. So basically, you're losing half your money that you've worked so hard to achieve in the first place. It gets worse. If inflation was to continue, and there's no reason why it won't, after 25 years, your pound is worth almost zero. Like it is worth 0.002 of a dollar in what you can actually purchase. So, if you look at those figures, your dollar will be worth 0.0002 cents. That is absolutely frightening. Now, conversely, if we're able to put it into the highest appreciated class, that is cryptocurrency, and particularly income. Income is the thing that you really need to focus on. Look, we all know, and I'm not dissing any coin, any token, because I think the more the merrier. We have to have as many diverse coins on the Pulsechain as possible in order to make it work. We need people to use the chain. But there is a significant difference in investing money. Excuse the light, by the way. This is just sunlight coming in through the window. Sorry about that. The sun's just popped his head out after the thunder and rain this morning. But I digress. I go back. The Memecoins, okay? If your investment strategy is to pick a Memecoin because the name of it makes you laugh, then good for you. Great. What about the economics of the coin going, doing a 10x? Whoopee. The average investor is putting in about 10 US dollars. Okay, what is that going to make you at 10x? $100? Wow, great. Go and have a good meal. What if you put in a bit more? What if you put in $1,000? The 10x is going to make you $10,000. Okay? Even 100x isn't going to give you the returns that you need to quit your job, to buy your house, or to buy your Lambo. Look, let me explain the maths a little bit more. Look, let's go back to this idea of the Lambo. Everybody wants a Lambo. I love Lambos, but I can't get in and out of them, so I don't have one. But anyway, I digress. There's a Lambo, 2011 Lamborghini Gallardo, cost $128,000. Now, right now, today, as we speak, you could go on to PTS.io or PulseX, and you could purchase 5 million PulseZen, and the price is about 0.0053. It might be a bit more by the time I finish talking, but it's going to be around that sort of figure. So that would cost you $2,600 or so dollars, okay, to buy that 5 million PZen. Now, we know that mathematically, over the average, the way that things have been going, you're going to get about 300 500 PulseZen a day through the PIF mechanism. On average, over the time, over a year, you would get 500 a day. Now, let's go back to the car dealership. Let's say you've got your average jalopy worth about $8,000. So you trade that in, okay? And so the total cost to you is not $150, it's $120,000. And if you finance that over 5 years, the finance payments at the moment would be $2,500. Well, guess what? If the price of PulseZen goes from 0.0053 to 0.3, the interest that you would get, if you sold the PIF that you got, you would be able to achieve $2,737 a month. That would give you enough money, enough income to pay for your car and put petrol in it. Vis-a-vis, with this passive income, you will be able to buy yourself your dream car, and it cost you almost zero. Okay, you had to buy the PulseZen in the first place, but we'll discount that. But that is almost zero. But it only works with passive income. Because, let's say you manage to achieve $1 million. Well, $1 million is going to buy you a bit of a house. It's going to buy you your dream car, maybe. And let's say you quit your job. That's great. Fantastic. Unfortunately, you still have expenses. You still have to live. You still got to fill that Lamborghini with petrol. And you might want to do something else. You might want to eat. You might want to buy food. You can only do that with passive income. And that is something that I want to talk more about today. You're not going to get passive income from Memecoins. And the amount of money that you're spending, trying to find the next best thing, your choices are, to pick the Memecoin with the funniest name. That is not an investment strategy. But if we have a look here at something else, because we are so early to this game, we are extremely early, people are missing out on another aspect, which I've tried to sort of bring to you before. But, PulseZen on Pulsechain has to have a market. And you'll see, if you do some investigation, that some people have created markets on there with PulseZen paired against other coins. PulseZen against wrap BTC, PulseZen against DAI even, and PulseZen, of course, against Pulse. Now, why would we do that? Well, the whole reason is volatility. If you imagine that later on we start to get some traction, we start to get some interest in both PulseZen and Pulsechain. We don't know the timing of it. We don't know which one is going to be more interesting first, but you are going to see the price of these coins change, and yes, you're going to get the PIF. However, to take advantage, the full advantage of the volatility, if you wanted to be in a pool, and I'm not saying this is for everybody, this is only for people with a certain risk profile, but if you were to add liquidity to a pool on Pulsechain, you would be able to participate in not only the appreciation of the coin value as it goes up, but you will also garner a lot of fees. And if you have a propensity to be risk averse, then you're going to be faced with impermanent loss. You've heard about it. No, sorry about the sunshine, guys. How do you actually balance that out? Well, you could go into a pool of, let me try and get out of the sun. You could go into a pool where against a stable coin like DAI, okay? Because then your impermanent loss becomes, well, negligible, if any, and you're still getting the trading fees, which when people realize that Pulsechain is a better, more secure, incredibly cheap version of Ethereum, we are going to get more and more users. There's no question about it. So let me just show you how you go about putting your money into a liquidity pool on Pulsechain. This one's DAI, but of course you can put your money into the liquidity pool, Pulse versus PulseZen, and then you're going to capture the volatility of both coins. Bit more risky, but you are going to achieve the highest gains. But anyway, here is the DAI.
Hi there. So I am going to show you how to add liquidity on Pulsechain to the PulseZen DAI pair. PulseZen has many liquidity pairs. One of the ways to alleviate impermanent loss is to pair a stable coin with PulseZen on the liquidity pools. The relationship of ratio trading means that the price of Pulse can go up without necessarily PulseZen price going down. Still, some people prefer a stable coin pool with bridged over DAI or USDC. Do this first. Head over to scanpulsechain.com. Click to run. Now type in PZEN to find the contract for PulseZen. Now copy it. You can add to MetaMask if you have not already. Now head over to the app PulseX. Click to run. Now click on Liquidity Selection. Select V2. Select Find Other LP Tokens. You will see PulseZen is not a selection unless you added it yourself before. Now go to Selection, Manage Tokens. It is here we paste in the contract address for PulseZen. Add PulseZen, you can ignore the warnings. So we could add liquidity to the PulseZen pool, but here we are going to choose DAI. Select DAI, then click on Add Liquidity. Add your amounts you want to generate fees on. Now you have to enable DAI and PulseZen by signing the MetaMask or any other wallet you use. Finally, confirm supply. and here is your liquidity pool. Don't forget to add your PLB tokens to your wallet. You will now generate fees as people trade PulseZen. With higher volumes, this will offset the mechanism where you do not get your share of added PulseZen, but you are generating fees after every transaction. Thank you for watching. Please hit the follow, subscribe or comment button. It really helps PulseZen. Until next time, slange var.
Slange var indeed. Listen guys, I am not telling you to invest in PulseZen. I am not telling you to join a liquidity pool, but what I am doing is giving you directions which you could follow if you choose to do so. Look, the PulseZen Pulse liquidity pool is high risk, but it's going to give you the greatest returns right now, because later on when you pull it out, you're still going to get the PIF, you're still going to get your passive income. But right now, when volatility as it is starting to increase, you're going to be garnering fees from these people who are buying Pulse or PulseZen. It doesn't matter which coin they buy, you are going to get it. It doesn't matter which coin they're going to sell, you are going to get your transaction fees. It is a fantastic way of generating passive income. And of course, you can dollar cost average into this. This is another key thing. Not everybody's got $10,000 or $100,000 lying around doing nothing. So you can build it up by actually dollar cost averaging, adding a bit of liquidity now and again, if that is something that you wanted to do. Look, Memecoins are great, okay? They're funny. But there's a huge difference between funny and making money. Well, you can say to me, oh, Conrad, you don't understand. I mean, my coin went up 10,000x the other day. Well, okay, that's great. Did you buy at the right time? Did you sell at the right time? What are you going to do with the cash that you've just made then? How are you going to generate an income? You have to understand the fundamental difference between what is a Memecoin and what is a financial instrument. Very, very important. And you know, if you choose to do so, well, great, have fun. It's entirely up to you. I can also recommend, why not go to Las Vegas for the weekend? Bet everything on red. It is so much fun, lots of adrenaline, lots of dopamine, and you might win. Who knows? Who knows? Okay, worth it. Well, slange var, everybody. I'm going to have a quick drink. It's about 95 degrees right now. Do we have anybody watching it? And again, to my replay viewers, I thank you for joining. And join me on the next live. Let's see, with this wonder of technology, can we actually see anybody making any comments? Okay. Altseen says, how much PulseZen do you recommend we hold? Will 10 million get me your lifestyle? Well, we have to be real here. We have to be real and honest. You don't know how much wealth I've got. You don't know what my lifestyle is really. I'm a random guy on the internet. I might be actually broadcasting this from under my stairs in a cupboard. You don't know. What is more important is, what would you be comfortable with? What do you want to achieve? What do you want your life to be? That is more important. You might not want the things that I want. What I am suggesting is that what you should aim for is freedom of your time. Very, very important. Time is a very important thing. And in crypto, it's also very important. If you are looking for gains tomorrow, it ain't going to happen. No way. You might win the lottery. You might win that bet on red, but that ain't going to actually produce the income that you want. Now, I gave an example of what might happen if you were to buy 5 million PulseZen today, with the price going up to, say, 0.3. Nobody knows. Nobody knows what's going to happen in the future. I can't advise you. I'm not a financial advisor, because I would have to sit down and look at all your financials before I could advise you on exact figures. You can do the math yourself. You can work out. The key thing is you're thinking about it. You're thinking about it, and taking action is the next step. And that's entirely up to you. You choose to run the code. You're in charge. Nobody's going to stop this. This will be going long after I'm dead and gone, because they cannot stop the blockchain. So good question. When is enough enough? Nobody really knows. Can we have another one? Yeah, here's Joel Ramirez, and he says, people want to make fast money. No one's in it for the long run, but eventually the mem craze will die, matter of when. Well, I'm not sure whether the Memecoin will ever, the Memecoin craze will ever die, because of this little thing in our brains called dopamine. And it's the dopamine kick that gets people. It's the dopamine rush. When you buy a Memecoin, it's like gambling, okay? You are literally hoping that everybody else likes the name as much as you do, and they will buy the coin, and you've timed it exactly so you buy right at the bottom and you sell right at the top, and whoopee, you're going to make your money. Well, that seems to be a very hard way to make money. Bit of a laugh, yes, I agree with you, it's fun, and you can sort of, it's almost like a social club. You know, when you buy a Memecoin and somebody else buys a Memecoin, you feel like you're part of a club, but it's hardly serious investing. You know, our systems, I mean, Richard Hart drummed it into you when Hex came out, about how bad trading was, including buying Memecoins, okay? And a lot of people said to me, well, why do you promote Hex anymore? Well, I'm not going to promote Hex when, you know, you have to update your worldview. There are some people where Hex is still a good protocol. It still works, and they can pull the money out in 15 years' time and be, we don't know what's going to happen. But, you know, it's a way of locking in people's money. And yeah, I'm not going to diss Hex. Hex is a great protocol. But the problem was there was a gap in the market to do the same thing with no staking and lockup, and no lockup. No staking, no lockup, you still get the interest. Wow, what a great concept. Now, right at the very beginning, a lot of people, including Richard Hart, didn't like that idea. And they made extreme efforts to make sure that the coin was flooded. I was flooded. I was personally attacked, and yeah, fair enough. Don't blame them, but it ain't true. That is the most annoying thing. A lot of people were actually flooded out of putting their investment into it, and the result is they never made any money. They just continually lose money. So all I can do is present the tools. Whether you want to take advantage of them is up to you. Good question. Any more? Oh, there's a few people here. I didn't realize there were so many people. Okay. Okay. Wake Dog says, Pulsechain, the clown car casino of crypto, an echo chamber and complete blah blah of a community, bask in the glory of Richard Hart and his copy and paste ecosystem. If you look at crypto as a whole, Wake Dog, crypto is one of these copy and paste systems. That's how it works. That's how you write code. You copy and paste code. That's actually how crypto works. As far as it being driven by you know, people who love Richard Hart, that couldn't be further from the truth. I'm not Richard Hart, and I think that the Ethereum blockchain was the greatest invention of our time. For him to take the time to copy it and actually to improve it by making it faster and cheaper and probably more secure, then hats off to him. It's up to you to use it. Okay, it's just a tool. It's a tool that's there. You can either use it or not. You can go back to Ethereum. You can go and use one of the, you know, hundreds of other blockchains that have come about if you wish. I just happen to think, on logic alone and on maths alone, that the Pulsechain network is going to be the dominant network in future times. It has to be, because really all people are interested, as you say there, in money. And if you can actually use a chain and make transactions faster, quicker, and more cheaply than everybody else, why would you not use that chain? Thank you for your comment. Okay, so, well, what actually is happening then with Pulsechain? I don't know. Let's have a look. What can we see? what's happening today. Let's have a look at something. 1 second. Yeah, okay. So we know that one of the things that is happening is that Richard is being taken to court. And the first court case that's going to come due is something that people don't really know about, but it's here. And thank you to somebody called Nuclear Herbs, who's been keeping us up to date. This is a court case that was launched against Richard about 2 years ago by somebody called Noah Vion. Now, he was a guy who bought Hex at the very top and he sold it at the very bottom. And basically, because of that, he lost money. If you buy something high and sell it low, you're going to lose money. But of course, Richard's a scammer. So therefore, it's Richard's fault. It's got nothing to do with Noah Vion's decisions to actually buy and sell. It's all Richard's fault being a scammer. So this guy's going to court to get his money back. Absolutely brilliant. This was filed, I think, about 2 years ago, if I remember correctly. But it's going to be reviewed in court, I think, next week. Now, one of the things about this court case is, maybe he intentionally or maybe he didn't realize, is that a judge in I think South Carolina, is it? I can't remember. A ruling that suggests that Hex is a security. Now, it would only make it a security in their mind because all the other states would have to agree. So it's not really relevant anyway. But what happened after this is that somebody called Matthew Allen decided to raise money. I think he wanted $200,000 for a lawyer to represent Richard Hart in this court case on Richard Hart's behalf, because Richard Hart had basically ignored it. And he deemed it so necessary to get an amicus brief to at least state the case in opposition so that it didn't go unopposed and Hex be declared a security. So that is what is happening next week. So that's going to be interesting to see the outcome of that. But there's more, as they say. Nuclear Herb has been at it again. I think he's some kind of, is he a lawyer or was a lawyer or something? Anyway, oh yeah, he's an ex-Navy guy. Well, I hope you've checked your green lights on this one. So yeah, the SEC court case about against Richard is a little bit more serious. I'm not going to go into all the details because I don't really quite understand it all myself. But the main thing here is that they've his lawyers have tried to do something which is very interesting. They're trying to get the court case dismissed before it even happens on the grounds that they don't have jurisdiction to do so. And I thought it was a very interesting argument. I actually agree with them. So I would like to see this thrown out before it even gets to court. But I personally, in my humble opinion, think the chances of that are absolutely zero. They spent so much money and so much time putting this case together. They want their 5 minutes in court. Come up way, they're going to do it. Anyway, that's what's happening there. Let's have a look at the chain rankings. Right now on Gecko Terminal, we can see that Pulsechain is number 8. That's not bad. Let's have a look at what Richard Hart's coins are doing today. So we've got Pulse, 444. The number of death, that's down about 7%. PLSX is up 1.3% and Inc is down 5.36%. Now, something's got to change somewhere along the line. Now, here's another site called Pulsecoin listing. You can see PulseZen here. I think this morning it's up about 3%. Yeah, not brilliant, but it's 3% up, and liquidity is climbing. Now that is the most important thing. Liquidity is climbing.
Ladies and gents, the sun really has come out now, and as you can see, well, you can't see, that is the problem. So I think I'm going to end this broadcast at this juncture, and I'll leave you with something that I found this morning, which is very interesting, to do with liquidity and why it is so important. I'm not even sure whether I've got it here. Can I do it? No, I can't do it for now. Anyway, just going back to the passive income business, right? If you are not in cryptocurrency, how are you going to get your passive income? I mean, I looked this morning. If I put my money in a bank account, this is what I can expect. A maximum of 5%. That is with a bank. And we know how dangerous leaving money is in the bank. And we know that we're losing 7%. Okay, so we make 5% back. Yeah, rather not. Anyway, back to liquidity. I really hope you join in. I really hope you join this game, because not only will you be helping the ecosystem, you'll be participating in the ecosystem. They need you. And you will also be benefiting from being part of the liquidity pool and being part of the PulseZen community. So I'll just leave you with this thought. We have all loved and hated Uniswap in the past, and the creator of Uniswap, if you didn't know this, is Hayden Adams, and he created a coin called Hay. Would you believe? Now, he says that it was for testing, and here's what happened. When he invented the coin, he made a small liquidity pool and only put a tiny amount of this Hay coin into that liquidity pool. Okay, keeping about 99.9% of the tokens for himself. Well, people being people, decided that they were going to trade this coin and have a bit of a laugh with it. Okay, but the fact of the matter is, Hayden, having realized that, well, he kind of forgotten about this coin, wasn't following it, and he tried to get rid of it in the way of actually burning the coins. And in doing so, it meant the supply of the coins was about 5. So each of those 5 tokens went to a whopping $580,000 a token. So playing the liquidity game is a serious business, and it could make serious money. Salam Shivar, everybody. It's very nice to see everybody here. Whether you hate or love PulseZen, or if you hate or love Pulsechain, thank you very much for listening to me. I hopefully will be dropping more nuggets of information as we go along the track. And for those of you following my journey, so far we've traveled a long way. Now we're sitting here in the Caribbean, floating about in not so good weather. The sun has come out, as I've said. And the waves in this anchorage, it's really unpleasant. So I'm going to get some much needed sleep, and I'll think about doing another live broadcast from the boat. I'm staying on the boat up until, well, probably the end of next month, and then we'll be off into the real world again, connecting with all the things that have been going on that I haven't really been following for the last 2 years. It's a very interesting perspective when you're out here. It is just you, well, I'm the crew. No, I don't have crew. Me and just me. And it's yourself and the elements, the sea, endless sea, and it gives you an awful lot of time to sit and think. And I've been sitting and thinking an awful lot about how what I can do with my legacy, really. And I'm absolutely convinced that everybody has a purpose in life, and you just have to find your purpose. And I think my purpose is to make sure people know as much as possible as they can about cryptocurrency, because it's going to propel you out of this have and have not cycle. It could be life changing. It could be generational wealth building for you. Who knows? Nobody's got a crystal ball. I'm the man with balls of steel. And on that very note, Slanji Var, and I will see you in the next broadcast. Hope it all went well.